Good time of day, whatever it is. Now I'm going to be working on building a model car for within Blender. My first protocol is going to be the blueprints.com. Um, it is a paid site for some stuff, but the cool thing is it does have a blueprints database of all sorts of vehicles, and it gives you rough reference photos. So if I go into, say, cars as my first example and look for something classic, let's say a Rolls-Royce. Um, Going down this list, I have a whole list of information about the vehicle name, what sort of category it fits in, and then this data on the end was actually the really useful part, because I've got the size of the image that it contains. So in this case it's 1589/87 by 709, and then I've got whether or not it's got a front view, a top view, a right side or rear view, top, and then a side view. And so you want as many ticks as that and a good screen resolution size in terms of what it is. So hunting through this list, looking for something classic, say the Phantom 2E, because I remember it from an Indiana Jones movie, we get this image. Now the reason it's displayed in this size is I've actually logged in, but we can click on that and it should download, and I can just simply right click and save image. Having already done this, I can then move into Blender. Okay, back after downloading my images of the Rolls-Royce 2, Phantom 2. The original image was actually a GIF or GIF, depending on who you ask, file type, and Blender has problems importing that sort of stuff. So what I've done is with Paint.net, I've converted to BMP, a TIFF, a PNG, and a JPEG, basically to work out which one will work. And after a bit of testing, it was PNG works, and basically everything else except GIF doesn't. So what I want to do is I want to import these images into this scene here. Now, just before I get into it, I want to flick to the above view, which is 7 on the number pad, and I'll activate my little screen keys thing again so you can see what I'm typing. And basically then it's just a matter of drag and dropping them in. Now at this point it is not that relevant where I put them. So if I switch then to the front view, I can get the next bit. In the old version of Blender, there was a different technique with which to do it, and you could actually lock it in so you could look at the front and the rear. Try that again. There. With different images, but in this case, not so much. Now, here I have these 4 images. They're all dumped in there as what are called empties. So if I just do a quick add, you can see further down the list there is an empty, which is basically just something with nothing in it. In this case, it automatically attaches the image so I can see it. First step is I'm going to work with my top view, and I'm going to switch to wireframe mode. 2 ways to get there. The first is these icons up the top, this is the little meshy one. So you can go wireframe and it gives you the box in outline only. The other one is to press the Z key on the keyboard, and you get this donut menu, and you can then select wireframe from that. So just locking into the top view, I want to get this detail on the car here, basically from above. Now I need to know how big that car is, and I don't at this point. So after a quick little Google search on Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 dimensions or size, I've given the Wikipedia page and then a automobile page. So the Wikipedia page turned out to be not so great, because normally down the side here they have dimensions, but in this case they don't. But the Rolls-Royce page does give me 2 sets of dimensions for the length and width. I lucked out on the height, but we can work that out based off the image, as long as we've got 2 of them to work with. The other thing's worth noting is that in this case the height is actually, the length is for the 4-door model, and I've got pictures of the 2-door model, which makes life more complicated. Anyhow, first up, I'm going to use this red cube, or orange cube, to rescale it to fit the size. And what I need to do is adjust the dimensions of that cube. So using the N panel, which is a pop-out on the side here, I can go to the item and get the dimensions of the item. And here you can see it is 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters. So the first step is that I'm going to grab this cube and in the Z direction move it up 1 meter. Hopefully that's worked. Oh, I can't see it because I'm looking from above. That makes sense. Anyhow, back to above. I'm going to make the red line, which is my X direction, be my width, and the green line be my length. So here I'm going back to my original web page, and that is 5080 millimeters. So back into Blender, Y is that length, so paste 5080 and then just mm for millimeters. What it does is extends the cube to fill that space. Quickly grabbing the other dimensions of 1524, I'm now going to give the X direction of 1524 millimeters. Make sure you put mm in the thing because it automatically assumes meters, and we want to make sure that it's got the right sort of size. And that looks like roughly a car shape, or car size anyway. So first is the top view, and you notice the image is the wrong direction. So I'm going to select that image. I'm then going to rotate it 90 degrees. Put a minus symbol in there so it points down because I like it pointing down, and then I should be able to grab it and place it roughly where I want. Then grab a corner and scale it up so the image should fit. Now what I'm doing here is I'm eyeballing the gap on this side and the gap on that side, and if I zoom in I should be able to then grab that image, get the front bumper bar to touch and the two sides of the car to touch the edge of the box. And this will roughly fit it in. Now as I said before, this is the picture of the 2-door model, not the 4-door model, so it's actually shorter. What we can do here is actually select the box, go into edit mode, click off it and then select the end of it, grab it in the Y direction, green line, and make it sort of touches the end of the vehicle. That should give us an accurate sizing on how big this car is. Switching out of edit mode, that's now the starting point. Now I switch to the front view, and we can see here the car is the wrong size, but we want to make it fit in that box again. So selecting the image, I'm going to grab it and position it roughly in spot, and then scale it up until it should fit, and reposition as needed to get the size just right. So scale that down a little bit, and that looks pretty good. Now what this also gives us is, and I could probably scale it up a smidgen, but I think that will do me, is it gives us the height of the vehicle. So selecting the cube again, I'm going to go back into edit mode and I'm going to click off it and then use the box select to grab the top and then grab in the Z direction or GZ to pull it down so it touches the roof. This gives us what they call a bounding box, which gives us the size of the vehicle. And then finally I've got the side view where I can just grab this, place it where I should need it, scale up so that the two ends touch, and what I might notice is that it doesn't quite fit. Scale it down a bit. So here what you'll notice is that the height of the box is not quite right, so the image may not be to scale. I'm not completely certain, but that's looking pretty good as a car. So I have the above view, the side view, oh, and I'm misreading that light as the end of the box. Well, that makes sense. So going back to my side view, I can then scale it up and go, oh yeah, I got it wrong, which is not too hard. And so the height is right, and then grab and slide it into position, making the front and the back of the car touch it. So it touches the top, touches the ends, and it should all fit rather nicely. If you're doing this as sort of a professional level, what you'd want to do is actually just trim out each of these images so that each image is just one view on its own, so you don't get all this extra stuff off the end and off the sides. So that's pretty much it for setting up the bounding box and the cube, and this is basically prepping your image to get ready. And what you want is a nice set of reference images, some background information about how big it is and the details of it before you actually get into modeling this vehicle. And I will cut this video here because this is really just the setup of the whole process.